Today we will talk about Velo, XLM, and XRP because Thailand is applying to join BRICS. And with the Velo connections into Thailand and Orbit possibly being implemented in a Thai CBDC airdrop, it is extremely conspicuous timing. You also have Malaysia trying to join BRICS, which has a lot of ties into Velo as well. It also has ties into XRP and XLM. And with Stellar's involvement in Velo, which is also called out on our XLM map here, the speculation I've had on how Velo could very well be heavily involved in BRICS infrastructure, which has been highlighted on the official Velo Telegram, begins to sound not quite as crazy. And then we have that Thailand, China, and the UAE are among the first countries to use mBridge, which I also talked about here. And now we have that Thailand, China, and the UAE are working together and with Ripple to allow for cross-border payments. Thailand is also using a CBDC as economic stimulus, which in all honesty, in my opinion, is not ever a good thing because you're just creating fiat out of thin air. But they are going to airdrop CBDCs into 50 million low-income earners' wallets.
Let's take a look at Thailand. In 2023, Thailand launched a pilot where people received free money, basically were bribed with $280, which is about 10,000 baht, a lot of money for the average Thai, with an expiry date of 6 months on the money and a geofence of 4 kilometers radius where they can spend the money. Based on this recent success, and yes, they call it a success, Thailand will launch at the end of 2024 a digital token payout to 50 million lower income earners. 50 million people will participate, aimed at encouraging them to spend in their local communities. It's a 500 billion baht, which is 13.7 billion US dollar plan of creating money out of nothing. The sad and funny thing is that they wanted to take the 500 billion baht as debt and they got criticized. So what did they do? They announced it will be taken from the fiscal policy instead, meaning fresh printing of money, meaning more inflation, meaning they steal from you anyway, right? And now everyone's happy, so they managed to pass that through the law. Using CBDC like this for stimulus achieved by airdropping or bribing, if we call it by its real name, will be used as an excuse to continue printing money, just like Thailand shows us now. Continue printing fiat money, basically.
And while a lot of that is not exactly positive, I am not naive enough to think that CBDCs are avoidable even here in the US. There are a lot of indications that Velo's orbit will be integrated into that airdrop. And here is a bit more on the infrastructure as to how that could actually happen.
Want to jump in there?
I think set aside privacy, programmable money has its merit. In Thailand right now, we are about to launch the national digital wallet, where the government give away $300 to any population. And this is actually similar to when credit card was launched in US, where you're actually giving away free money for people to try the credit card. The idea that we may implement a smart contract is to drive money multiplier. Because the benefit of putting money on the blockchain is you can actually program it in a way where if you're just handing cash, you just spend and it's just one-time money multiplier. But with smart contract, you can do geofencing, meaning that you can only spend within your area, and then for the sub-district to cross to other sub-district, that's another multiplier. From the money to go from retailer to the wholesaler, that's another multiplier. So right now, the Thai government is exploring putting this $300 free money to the national digital wallet and put it under the smart contract and try to do the geofencing in a way that can drive the money multiplier to about, let's say, 5 to 6 times. So what that means is that when the government put in $20 billion, it could actually grow the GDP by about $100 billion. And set aside that, by implementing this programmable money, we're actually going to have an infrastructure that can allow for borderless payment, meaning that for a country like Thailand, we can actually allow, in the past we are a capital control country, when we start develop the smart contract infrastructure, it can allow for the money flow to come easier. So in the future, potentially the USDT, the USDC can be swapped into these locally programmable money.
And regardless of our opinions on the potential hazards of a programmable CBDC, that right there is the vice chairman of Velo. And his explanation of the involvement of smart contracts is also extremely important in regards to its impact on the involvement of the Velo token, because the Velo protocol is pretty unique because it includes a three-leg contract, and that involves fiat stablecoins and Velo tokens as collateral. So the more that comes on to the Velo network, the more Velo tokens get locked up in contracts, which takes more of it out of supply and also increases the demand at the same time, which could have extremely positive impacts on the price of the token. And to further talk about how Velo might be connected into BRICS, with the example of trade of oil, the involvement of Thailand, China, and the UAE in Project mBridge is extremely interesting for the potential increase of demand of Velo and how it is incorporated into smart contracts. Saudi Arabia is exploring accepting oil payments in currencies other than the USD and has joined the mBridge project, which includes China, Hong Kong, the UAE, and Thailand, which aims to improve cross-border transactions with CBDCs, which are essentially stablecoins, which could end up in that three-leg contract.
Rich Turin is the author of Cashless, China's Digital Currency Revolution, and he told me that more countries are likely to adopt central bank digital currencies because they make cross-border transactions easier.
It's huge, and I will go as far as to say that this is the birth of what I will call the petro-yuan, or like we have the petrodollar, we're now going to have the petro-yuan from China. What you see here is a long-term plan that's going to be missed by many, and it's lots of little steps taking place very carefully. So you've got Saudi Arabia joining BRICS Plus this past September of 2023. Now you've got Saudi Arabia joining into the mBridge program because Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa will all have central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, within the next year, I would say. India and China are obviously already in pilots and going. Russia's in pilot, and I think South Africa is pretty well along to say that within a year they'll be launched as well.
Mm-hmm. So, Rich, this really is a massive change. You talk about the petro-yuan. What do you think about the timing of this, given that the Saudi deal with the US to sell oil in dollars, the petrodollar, has lapsed? How big a vote of confidence is this in the yuan?
I don't believe in coincidences. I think that this is a clear message from Saudi Arabia to the United States that we want to do business with the world. And I think it's a strong vote of confidence for doing business with China. And why not? China and Saudi Arabia are big trading partners. We've got China now working on a new natural gas pipeline, a major project worth $1 billion-something in Saudi. There's a tremendous amount of business between Saudi Arabia and China. And the fundamental question is, why shouldn't that business be conducted in RMB? Why does it have to be in dollar? When Saudi Arabia is buying products from China and can readily use RMB and wait for it, get a better deal. So the timing is not a coincidence. It's a strong vote in favor for the yuan, and it's a clear indicator that Saudi Arabia has intention to do business with China in yuan, and we can expect more of it in the future. Expect it to be slow at first, but eventually this is going to take off.